Okay guys, welcome to today's video where we're gonna play with a couple of oscilloscopes and take a look at an application I've been working on. It's a little Python application that gives you a GUI interface to pull points and do a little bit of manipulation of it on the application itself. And then we can pull stuff into PulseView and take a look at some data as well. So that was kind of the main purpose of this project. Well, one was I'm in the process of learning Python, as you saw in my last video, and this one was kind of like something I'd already written in VB.NET, and I just wanted to kind of convert something I already wrote over into Python and take a look at how to do this. But yeah, today's video is sponsored by PCBWay, so let's first take a look at today's sponsor, and then we will jump right into this project. We'll take a look at some different things we can do with the scopes and have some fun today. Okay, so first let's do a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is PCBWay. PCBWay does circuit boards like you've seen on the channel before. They'll do your stencils. So on top of being able to do bare boards and stencils, they can also do board assembly for you. You can get 3D printing done, both metal 3D printing and just plastic 3D printing. You can get CNC machining done there, and you can get your flex PCBs as well. So that's something I probably should do a project on in the future on the channel, is a flex PCB, and we are definitely going to continue to work with PCBWay here on the channel. So definitely check the link in the description if you have any of those kind of needs where you can get your boards made, you can get them assembled if you don't want to assemble them yourself, and you can get, you know, a housing 3D printed. Basically a one-stop shop for any rapid prototyping you may be trying to do. All right, so let's take a quick look at the application, get an idea of what it does, how it works, and then we'll get into the weeds on it a little bit. So first, it can connect to any of your VESA instruments, and I will explain VESA in a little more detail here in a moment. But let's just pick one of the oscilloscopes here. Let's connect to the TDS 3012. We'll click connect, and we are now connected. We know we're connected because it shows up there. We can pull a plot, and it's just going to look like noise. We can zoom in and out. There's nothing actually on the screen of the scope right now. That's why it's just noise. You can get an FFT out of the data, and then we can look at jitter. After that, we are able to save the plot. Basically, it's exporting all of the points there. And then we can send manual Skippy commands as well to talk to the instrument if we wanted to. So an example would be IDN. And then we could see that we get a response. We have a couple of controls up here. We can start and stop the acquisition. So now we can continuously plot this over and over again. And we can do a single sequence, which it will plot it once and then stop. And then we can do this, which will just kind of read out whatever's on the screen without clearing it. Which is useful for when we want to capture data that we may want to then put into PulseView. Okay, so why would I want to use VESA, and what is VESA? VESA is like a layer of abstraction for talking to test equipment. So that way you can do GPIB, RS-232, USB TMC, any of those kind of ways of talking to the instrument. So it gives us this bus independence here. We can automatically discover things if we're using like NI Max or Keysight Connection Expert. So there's applications out there for it. And we get this kind of this robust state of control that handles a lot of the errors and stuff for us as well. So it gives us some flexibility. It gives us easy to swap out instruments. So I have 3 different oscilloscopes here that I can just swap through on them. They all respond to the same command, so it's very easy to just change these things out. I don't have like hard-coded things that I need to do. Now, Visa's not handling your Skippy commands themselves that the instrument talks to, so that you would do through like LabVIEW drivers. If you wanted to, front panels, you can pull those in. There's ways to convert those drivers to work with other stuff other than just LabVIEW. AT Easy does that in a lot of their stuff. But yeah, so again, it's handling a lot of this stuff that you would have to handle yourself. So it's a nice layer of abstraction for talking to instruments. In Python, you have PyVisa to pull in, or in if you were going to be doing this in like C++ or C# or something like that, you would just pull in the Visa lobe COM object, and then you'd be able to deal with it through Visa that way. So just to give a quick idea of how to use Visa, I'm using Keysight Connection Expert, but you can use any of the flavors that are out there, like the NI Visa, the IVI Foundation, PyVisa. You can use any of these and they'll work with it. I just prefer a Keysight Connection Expert with the Keysight flavor of Visa. So you can set up your instruments in Connection Expert and make all of these resources available for use. So we can see the TDS 5054. This one is my TDS 3014, and then the TDS 2014. So yeah, we have all these instruments here, and you can, do your connections. One of the nice things you can do in Connection Expert is this IO monitor and start capturing, and then you can, capture all of these commands that are sent. So let's go ahead and connect to the USB one. We can see, everything that's being communicated through that Visa layer. So it makes debug really nice. Okay, so let's take a look at a practical application here. We have the Tektronix TDS 2014C connected to the application, and we have a function generator feeding in a 30 kilohertz signal. So we've captured that. We can go ahead and capture another plot here. And then we can click the FFT button and see the FFT show us a spike here at 30 kilohertz. Which again, FFT is a feature that never would have shipped with this particular scope. So we can zoom in and we can turn on our cursors here and put a cursor right on it and see that, yep, that's right at 30 kilohertz, and our amplitude is right at about 3.1 is what we detected. And so yeah, that is in the dB volts, RMS, and then we have our signal being fed in, which is 30 kilohertz at 4 volts peak to peak, which would come out to about 3.01 dB volts. So we got a good capture. And here's another practical application for it. So let's switch over to the TDS 3012 and connect to that. And we want to plot channel 1 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. I don't care about the FFT on that. I care about this. Let's fit. Okay, so we have our two plots here, which are our data, and we can take that, and we can't decode it here in this application. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel on decoding plots, because there's already a program that does a great job of that, which is PulseView. So we can save our plot, and we'll just save it as capture CVS, and it gives you instructions on how to import it in PulseView, just because there is a little bit of quirkiness to that. So go ahead and open up PulseView. So in PulseView, we will start a new session. We will load the file. So we're going to load a comma separated value. I'm going to select it. It is T, comma, asterisk A. And the rest of these should be the default. And we'll get these two plots loaded in. Now we need to select I squared C. We need to convert these to logic. And then it'll allow us to select them. Channel 1 is our clock, and channel 2 is our data. And there we go. Now we have decoding of I squared C on an oscilloscope that doesn't support I squared C. Now, once you've actually loaded this and got it configured, you can keep saving over that file and click reload, and it will reload that file with new data. So if I were to take another capture and save it, all I have to do is click reload. I don't have to do all of that configuration again. This session has saved the configuration, so I just can reload that CSV file and this will update. But yes, this is correct decoding of the data I sent to it. Here is the example that I was using to send to it. So I literally just sent those bytes using this FTDI chip here and captured them on the screen. So yeah, the two main features that I know are working correctly and were intended are the FFT in this waveform, where I can export the points from it. The cursors definitely work correctly as well. I'm not 100% sure if the tie jitter chart is actually working the way it's intended to. So I'm not going to go into detail on it. That one's still a work in progress, making sure that it's actually doing what I expect it to do. But yeah, I can, plot multiple channels. One of the limitations here to make sure of, if you're going to plot multiple channels, the oscilloscope itself can only return one channel at a time. So you want to make sure that you have your trigger disarmed, you're in run stop or something like that if you're plotting multiple channels, or else you could end up with channels that don't match. That is just a limitation of pulling the points off of the scope. You can only pull the points of one channel at a time. You can't pull channel 1 and channel 2 at literally the same time. It is pretty fast, and as long as you're not triggering really fast, you should pull them both, but there is that possibility. All right, so those of you that are wondering where to find this, the link is in the description, but it's on GitHub. It's free, it's open source, it's in Python. If you want to make any changes, you're free to make changes. If you want to merge them to the main branch, you're welcome to send requests, and I will take a look at it and see if I want to merge it or not. So yeah, there's definitely the source code's available for you to make changes, and all of the instructions on how to get it up and running and what you need to do, and give you some architectural notes to it if you want to try to make some changes to it. It's all available to you. I've tested it on the TDS 2014, TDS 3014, or 3012, and the TDS 5054. It should work on a TDS 2010. That's of the same generation. Tektronix was pretty good about sharing a lot of these commands throughout. So if it's a Tektronix scope, it'll probably work with it. And if you test it on a different tech scope, let me know, so that way I know if it works for you or not. And I can add it to the list of scopes that have been tested. So yeah, definitely, it's an attempt to get something out there on this. Okay, well, hopefully you guys weren't screaming at your screen too much saying, hey, why didn't you just use a logic analyzer? Because yeah, these cheap little logic analyzers, they do tend to work with PulseView. My main problem with them though is I don't always trust when I'm debugging. When it works, I trust it, but when I'm debugging, I don't always trust that it's working right, because I've had it where sometimes it's just not working right. So I just don't always trust that thing. So I like being able to see it on the scope and having that plot that I can do. It's really nice. But there's a huge thank you that goes out to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. It allowed me to take that time and take these little scripts that I was using to pull plots and actually put them together into a nicer application. You know, that allowed me to spend a couple of days on this project and actually get something a little more polished out there than I normally would. So again, thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this project, and we'll definitely be seeing more of them with this project where I'm trying to replace this particular design. Now, don't feel like you can't go buy this design right now and implement it, because I am trying to just make a drop-in replacement. So if you are developing around this particular one, your project should still work with the new design. So that's one of the big things that I'm going to do, is just make sure that it's a complete literal drop-in replacement where it still does all of the same stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you comment down below with your scope letting me know if it works or not. And I will see you guys in the next one.